Genius for life. Coconut smoothies coming at you. Hello there. Welcome to 15 Minutes of Genius. I'm your host, Alex Baer. I'm the CEO and founder of Genius Juice, all the logos everywhere, whole coconut smoothies. So I'm not here to talk about myself, even though I do talk about myself a lot. I'm here to talk about our guests. We bring on CPG experts, investors. We bring on buyers, corporate buyers from different retailers across the country, entrepreneurs, pretty much everyone involved in CPG. We bring them on the show. I think we're going to have 1,000 episodes. I'll probably be doing this when I'm 60 years old. But anyway, before I go into an intro with our guest, just a big plug to Mark Nicholas, Mark N at ManhattanBeachStudios.net. This is an amazing studio. James Cameron works across the lot. I mean, this is an awesome place to be. We're across from Mother's Market. We're across from Whole Foods. So yeah, big plug for him. Amazing studio. He does photo. He does video. He does podcasts. He does it all. Mark N at ManhattanBeachStudios.net. All right, so let's roll into our guest. I have known of him for a long time, just through LinkedIn and through mutual contacts. But I met him yesterday, from when we're taping right now. I met him yesterday. And I just felt inclined to bring him on the show because this guy is awesome at what he does, and he has a ton of experience and a great team. Zach DeAngelo, the CEO of RodeoCPG. Rodeo's team of 20-plus dedicated industry pros work with 50-plus innovative food and beverage companies. Put simply, they help grow brands with growing pains. Their offerings fall into three broad categories: R&D, product development, operations management, and sales management. If you're struggling with any of these areas, reach out to them today. And a very quick intro on Zach. Zach's the CEO and founder of RodeoCPG, an action-based ecosystem designed to help innovative brands grow more quickly. Prior to Rodeo, Zach held a variety of leadership roles in the consumer space, including CEO of Kalot Superfoods, head of sales at I and Love and You, I remember that brand, and COO of Little Duck Organics, which I definitely know. Zach is an active investor advisor in the space and is a regular contributor to industry trade publications. Zach, how's it going?
Thank you. It's great, Alex. Pleasure to be here.
Definitely. Love the backdrop. We talked about it before starting the taping. It is minimalist. It is awesome. We're focusing only on you. If someone gets distracted by the background, they have a real
Yeah.
problem. They have, I think, some attention issues.
It could be more ornate. Yeah. But like I said, if we turned the camera angle, I think you'd see a few more elements to the room.
Exactly. But this is great. It's all about you. We're focusing on you, and it works. So let's get right into it. Your story.
Sure.
So just talk about how you got involved with advising brands, with your company, CPG. What really led you to where you are today? Let's go into that.
Sure. I'll keep it brief. If we went all the way back, spent some purgatory in finance, but didn't love it and always loved food. I grew up cooking in the kitchen. My mom owned a small catering company where we grew up. And so after the financial stint in New York, I went to grad school at Babson, which is very startup focused with the intention of starting a food business, whatever that meant. And met a partner, and we started a gluten-free cereal company called Coco Mama Foods. And I ended up traveling around the country in various co-man facilities, learning the operational side of the business, product development, really getting into the nitty gritty of how to take a food concept into commercialization and scale. And at the end of the day, product development for that product was really difficult. And in my opinion, we just couldn't nail it. So along that journey, I met a friend who was toying around with kid snacks in his basement. His name was Zach Normandin, and he had started Little Duck. So I joined him in that pursuit. And that was an adventure to say the least. And that took us to about 2014, at which point we sold the business. Not a huge sale by any means, but it was a liquidity event and an interesting path. And I, at that point, moved from New York to Colorado, for the opportunity at I and Love and You, which was a really rapidly growing natural pet food company in the space,
Hmm.
which was a lot of fun. And after I and Love and You, after major investments with Winona and eventually El Catterton, um, did an investment and CEO stint at Kalot, as you said, and then started really getting into this notion of how could you build an action based ecosystem in this space where in a 90% failure rate kind of category or space, could you swap that around and actualize the success of brands that you work with? And the observation I saw a lot of accelerators and incubators popping up everywhere that were great, largely education based, which was important. But in my experience, all these brands needed people doing things, not just telling them what to do. So that was kind of the impetus behind Rodeo. And we started as an outsourced operations company. That was our background in DNA. And we sort of evolved over the past few years. And as you said, we're up to 22 full-time people and who are dispersed throughout the U.S. We have a R&D facility in Brooklyn. We did have a headquarters in Boston that has now sat empty for 9 months for obvious reasons. We're just trying to take a really quantitative approach to this whole thing and recognizing inefficiencies in the market and trying to solve problems for brands at scale. And so that was kind of the broad journey.
Got it. Yeah, I mean, you guys offer just a plethora. I keep on using the word plethora too much on the show, but a variety. I got to keep it
Yeah.
more simple here.
A
More,
myriad,
yeah, what?
a myriad.
A
You could
myriad,
throw that
yeah,
in there.
myriad, a plethora, yeah. This is yeah. People are learning new words on this show. I love it. So, but yeah, just a variety of different services, and all different areas. And when we like first got to talking on the phone yesterday, we really talked about how a lot of smaller brands just cannot afford to hire a full-time person, and that's really where you come in. Now, do you recommend like at some point when you grow the brand to a certain level to do a handoff to hire an internal person, or are you there when a company can scale even further? Like, what's your model on how you work with brands?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think it's very founder specific and brand specific. So, take Recess as an example. We started working with them when it was just Ben and Simon, who was the founder and COO. And by the time, after about 19 months of working with them on a day to day basis, they had a fairly substantial team. So for them, it was a natural transition, back to internal staff. For other brands, we've been with them for well over 2 years, and as our company evolves, opportunities to provide value, remain. So I think, ideally speaking, for me, because myself and a lot of the team are brand builders at heart, so we love the long term partnership, and as long as we're adding continued value, I think it is wholly dependent on the kind of culture you're trying to build with a brand. Do you want to outsource or do you not? Like, where are the gaps in your team and skill sets? And I think one advantage of a team like Rodeo is that, you know, 22 people, there are so many shared, experiences and relationships and models and systems that can be leveraged to make what we do really, really impactful and really efficient. And so I guess the question is, for some brands, I'd say if you threw a dart in all of our brands, we work with 70 plus brands at this point. The median revenue is probably between 5 and 7 million. We help start a number of brands. We work with larger brands from a data and analytics perspective. So it really is an amorphous kind of ecosystem, and it's fun because now we're getting to the point of scale where we can negotiate better pricing on behalf of our partnership brands, in all sort of stakeholder units like 3PL, co-packers, merchandisers, you name it, brokers. We start to have an impact and network effect, which to me is a lot of fun because if we can again create that incremental value for brands that are within our portfolio, then we create stickiness, and there's no reason to go away. Um, but we'll see. I mean, I think it's a brand by brand reality.
Exactly. And, one thing that you really touched on is like a lot of these brands you've worked with, like I'll use Recess as an example, they're able to raise money, right, from a pretty early stage. And then I think they
Yeah.
raised again, or they at least raised one big round, I remember.
Mm-hmm.
And like you have to have a lot of these check boxes. And we had Wyatt Taubman, the co-founder, CEO of
Yeah.
Vive Organic, on our show. Hasn't aired yet, but we had him. We taped it last week, and he talked about fundraising is like there's check boxes, margins, operations, supply chain, great team, sales, distribution, great price point. And so, like,
Yeah.
it seems like the more you're talking about this, I'm hearing your full story, right? Is that these are things that you can architect within a company to get them set up to be bankable and investable to an outside investor. And of course, it's working. And you said that where they've become brands at scale and raise money. Question I have is, and which is, by the way, a very valuable service. It's beyond just the expertise you offer. It's also setting up a brand for long-term success, right? Whether they hire
Yeah.
internally, you got to raise money, right, most of the time, and you set them up for that success. Last question I have, because we're running out of time. Do you prefer a certain stage to join a company? And whether it's pre-revenue, whether it's late stage, whether it's a million in revenue. Like, is there a certain stage that I know you enjoy whatever stage they're at, right? Because you love what you do. But is there a preferred stage you like to start with a company at?
Well, we love the opportunity, and this year has been surprising where you would think that there'd be a sort of slowdown in innovation, but there hasn't been. And being at that early stage of a brand and be able to set up, an operational infrastructure that can scale is a lot of fun for us. So we've partnered with brands like Som as one example, which is an amazing kind of Southeast Asian authentic cooking sauce company that's done very well. Gia is another example of a
Mm-hmm.
non-alcoholic aperitif brand that is so fun to be a part of at this stage. So that's near and dear to my heart. And then I'm sure if you asked other members of the team, that are like enterprise value operations people, they like to work with large companies to find efficiencies and increase margin. And so I think it is for me early stage because that's where most of my experience lies, and for many of the team, it kind of just depends on their experience set and level of interest.
Definitely. So yeah, it's really cool that depending on the team member, one really likes a certain stage, another person likes another stage, a different stage. And I can see it
Yeah,
because you're an investor, right? And you really love the story and you want to, be passionate behind the product and the brand and the founder. So I can see why you love to join companies even more at an earlier stage to really like help mold and form it and get them to lift off the ground and become successful. So
yeah.
really amazing stuff. We are almost out of time, but we have a new segment we're calling, and it's a surprise. I haven't even told you about it. Rapid fire questions.
Beautiful.
Rapid fire questions. Okay. I didn't tell you about this, right? This is all a surprise.
Now,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm ready.
All right. So we're just going to go into questions. We have a minute. So if you take too long to answer, we're going to buzz you or gong you or whatever. And
Fair enough.
but hopefully, I think you'll answer them real fast. I know it. All right. So
I got it.
NSYNC or Backstreet Boys?
Backstreet Boys.
First thing you do when you wake up?
Now play with my kid.
Awesome. And before your kid was born?
Turned on the coffee machine and chilled on the couch for 10 minutes.
Nice. Movie you can watch
Yeah.
an unlimited amount of times.
Royal Tenenbaums.
Song you can listen to an unlimited amount of times.
Heat of the moment. Asia.
I love that song. Favorite national park?
I'd say Rocky Mountain National Park these days.
Yeah, local, going local. What is your
Going
spirit
local.
animal?
I'd say a squid.
Squid. 8 tentacles, right? You can handle a lot at once.
Yeah, a
So,
lot going on.
yeah, a lot going on there. Window seat or aisle seat on an airplane?
Window always. I'm petrified of flying.
There you go. Peanut butter or almond butter?
Peanut butter for taste, almond butter for efficacy.
There you go. Cold weather or hot weather?
Cold these days. My wife's a mountain woman, and we spend a lot of time outdoors. And we're in, as you can see, Snowmass, Colorado. So,
Yeah, yeah, it says it in the name. So, cold
hmm
brew or hot coffee? Is it cold on cold or hot on cold?
it's well, hot for me,
Got it.
and espresso most days.
LeBron James or Michael Jordan?
I'll go LeBron on this one.
You're the first to say LeBron. We've had 4 people say Michael Jordan, and one guy was from Ohio as well, and he said Michael Jordan. Ginger
Uh,
or turmeric?
Ginger.
Favorite food or drink if you were stuck on a deserted island and you cannot say genius juice or coconuts?
You're limiting me. Then I'll say Evergreen Waffles because that's a brand we just started working with, and they're fantastic. So
Well,
try them out.
then you have to get an outlet and a toaster. It becomes more
Yeah, yeah,
complicated. Yeah.
that wasn't part of the deal.
Yeah, exactly. So awesome, man. Well, that is our rapid fire questions round. Thank you for being a participant in it. It's brand new and great answers. Really, again, I think this industry is about networking, getting to know people, supporting each other. And even though I just met you yesterday, like I just feel like great connection here. I love what you're doing, helping brands, and I know we're going to be talking again on the phone. Thank you again for referring us to also some people that we need in our business as well. So
Yeah,
you've been amazing and really helpful to us. So thank you for joining us on 15 Minutes of Genius.
you're welcome. And anytime I can help you or the audience, let me know.
Awesome. And how do people reach you, by the way? What's your email?
Zachary at RodeoCPG.com, and you can contact me anytime. I'm pretty quick to respond.
Yep, LinkedIn, right? That's what it's about. So,
LinkedIn these days.
exactly. All right, Zach, thank you again, man. That is episode 27 of 15 Minutes of Genius. One more big shout out to Mark Nicholas, Mark and ManhattanBeachStudios.net. He is the man. There's the website below. And one more thing, stay genius, my friends. Genius for life. Coconut smoothies coming at you.